Heterosexual identity. Heterosexuality refers to people who are attracted to individuals of the opposite gender. This is the most commonly recognized and represented sexual orientation in society. For instance, a heterosexual woman experiences romantic and sexual attraction towards men, not women. She might dream about marrying a man, feel excited about dating men, and find fulfillment in these relationships. Movies, books, and television often showcase heterosexual relationships, like the classic storyline of a man and woman falling in love and building a life together. Homosexual identity. Homosexuality encompasses individuals who are attracted to people of the same gender. This includes both gay men and lesbian women. A gay man, for example, feels romantic and sexual attraction exclusively towards other men. His relationships, whether they're short-term dating or long-term commitments, are with men. Society's increasing acceptance is reflected in more open discussions and media representation of homosexual relationships, like a TV show featuring a loving, committed gay couple or news stories covering same-sex marriage rights. Bisexual identity. Bisexuality is the sexual orientation where an individual feels attracted to both men and women. This doesn't necessarily mean equal attraction to both genders or simultaneous relationships with both. For example, a bisexual woman might date a man and later find herself attracted to a woman. Her capacity for attraction isn't limited by gender. Bisexual visibility in media and public discourse is growing, with more characters and public figures openly identifying as bisexual and sharing their experiences. Pansexual identity. Pansexual individuals are attracted to people regardless of their gender identity. This means they can be attracted to men, women, non-binary, and transgender individuals. For instance, imagine someone who finds themselves drawn to a partner's personality and human qualities rather than their gender. They may fall in love with a man, find emotional connection with a non-binary person, or feel attracted to a transgender woman, all based on the individual's characteristics rather than their gender. Asexual identity. Asexuality is characterized by a lack of sexual attraction towards any gender. Asexual individuals might still desire romantic, non-sexual relationships. For example, an asexual person may seek deep, emotional bonds and enjoy romantic activities like dates or cuddling without the desire for sexual intimacy. They value the emotional aspect of relationships over physical attraction and may engage in partnerships based on mutual interests, companionship, and affection rather than sexual desire. Queer identity. Queer is a broad term that encompasses various non-normative sexual and gender identities. It's often used by individuals who feel that traditional labels like gay or straight don't fully capture their experiences. An example could be someone who finds that their attraction and identity don't fit neatly into existing categories. They might be exploring different aspects of their sexuality, experimenting with various forms of relationships, or challenging conventional understandings of gender and attraction. Demisexual identity. Demisexuality is part of the asexual spectrum, where individuals only experience sexual attraction after establishing a strong emotional connection. For instance, a demisexual person might go on many dates, but only feel sexual attraction after deeply getting to know someone and forming a bond based on trust and emotional intimacy. This could manifest in long-term friendships turning into romantic relationships, where the emotional connection is the key trigger for their sexual attraction. Genderqueer or non-binary identity. Non-binary or genderqueer individuals don't conform to traditional male or female gender norms. They may identify as a mix of both, neither, or fluctuate between genders. An example is someone who doesn't feel strictly like a man or a woman and dresses or expresses themselves in ways that don't align with societal expectations of their assigned gender. They might request their pronouns and advocate for recognition and respect outside the gender binary. Transgender identity. Transgender people have a gender identity different from their assigned sex at birth. For example, a transgender woman is someone who was assigned male at birth, but identifies and lives as a woman. She might undergo social, legal, and/or medical changes to align her external appearance and legal identity with her gender identity. This journey can include name changes, hormone therapy, and sometimes surgery, all to reflect her true self. Intersex identity. Intersex individuals are born with sex characteristics that don't fit typical definitions of male or female. This can include variations in chromosomes, hormones, or physical traits. For example, someone might be born with XXY chromosomes instead of the typical XX or XY, or have ambiguous genitalia. Intersex people may identify with various genders and sexual orientations, and they advocate for acceptance and recognition of their unique biological attributes. Two-spirit identity. Two-spirit is a term used by some indigenous North American cultures for individuals who embody both masculine and feminine spirits. It's a unique cultural identity that transcends Western gender and sexual orientation classifications. A two-spirit person might participate in traditional roles or ceremonies of both men and women in their community, and they are often respected as mediators and keepers of specialized knowledge in their cultures. Skoliosexual Identity. Skoliosexuality is an attraction mainly to non-binary, transgender, and genderqueer individuals. A skoliosexual person might find themselves attracted to someone who doesn't conform to traditional gender norms. For example, a skoliosexual might feel a strong attraction to a non-binary person who expresses their gender in a way that is neither strictly male nor female, focusing more on the individual's unique gender expression rather than their biological sex. Polysexual Identity. Polysexuality refers to attraction to multiple, but not necessarily all genders. For example, a polysexual individual might be attracted to women and non-binary people, but not to men. This differs from bisexuality, which typically includes attraction to both men and women. A real-life scenario could involve a polysexual person being in a relationship with a non-binary individual and later developing feelings for a woman, showing their range of attraction within the gender spectrum. Graysexual Identity. Graysexuality falls within the asexual spectrum and involves experiencing sexual attraction infrequently or under specific conditions. A graysexual person might only feel sexual attraction in rare circumstances, such as after forming a particularly deep emotional bond with someone. For instance, they may generally lack interest in sexual activities, but occasionally experience sexual attraction in the context of a long-term, deeply emotional and committed relationship. Autosexual Identity. Autosexual individuals experience attraction towards themselves. This might manifest as a preference for self-pleasure or finding oneself sexually attractive. An example is someone who feels most aroused and fulfilled through self-exploration and self-admiration rather than seeking external sexual partners. This identity challenges conventional understandings of sexual attraction and emphasizes the diversity within human sexuality.